Hi, I'm Morgana Best, and welcome to my channel, Authors Selling Direct, which is, as you can probably figure out, all about authors selling direct. That is from our own retail business, not selling on another retailer such as Amazon. And that's the important difference. When you have an author store, you are a retailer. When you sell on Amazon, it doesn't matter whether you sell $1 a week or several $100,000 a month, you still don't have a retail business. You are selling on the retailers. But when you have your own store, you are now the retailer, and it is a retailer business. And that means you get paid immediately, unlike having to wait 60 days. And it comes with lots of other benefits, but it isn't for everyone. If you absolutely love writing and you're always saying, I can't stand ads, I hate marketing, all I ever want to do is write, then having an author business, selling on the retailers, having your own store would not be for you. It depends where you're at. If you are excited about selling direct, but you don't have many books out and you think one day you want to move to it, it's better to start as you intend to finish. In my opinion, Shopify far eclipses all the other methods. And I do talk more about this in my book where I compare other storefronts. But my channel is all about Shopify because it's what I use for my stores, for my store, for my pen name store, for my fiction and non-fiction stores as well. So therefore, because I use Shopify, of course, I recommend it and I talk about it because I'm very excited about it. Now, I started selling direct in 1993. That's not a typo, sad to say, but I started selling direct in 1993. And that was non-fiction, and of course it was print. And then when the internet sort of came along in Australia, in around the year 2003, I still didn't have broadband. I was on dial-up, but I was selling paperbacks, and then I was also selling ebooks as well internationally. And I had a system set up. I was selling through PayPal, and I had a system set up so that when somebody bought an ebook, the heading would trigger an automatic send of the files. These days, thankfully, we have BookFunnel, which also handles support. And when you have your own business, you will be thrilled to have BookFunnel to handle support. Don't even think about trying it yourself or you will go completely mad. Now, when Kindle came out around, I think, 2007, I was selling on CreateSpace before that. But when Kindle came along, I, of course, went to Kindle, and then I lost track of selling direct and I went with the flow. I was selling on Kindle, was selling on the other retailers. But then a few years after that, I went back to focusing more on selling direct because I had a few, you know how you get the bot things happening on some of those retailers. And I had books pulled from sale while they had to investigate whether they were okay. Well, of course they were okay. I'm a cozy mystery author, like nothing happens, you know, there's nothing to get upset about in a cozy mystery. So that was a bit annoying, lost a lot of money over it. And I had a few other things that made me sort of go back to my first love, which was selling direct. And it also, I was used to getting the money instantly. I wasn't used to answering to someone. I'm not someone who's good at working for other people. Typically, in my youth, I wasn't very good, like taking nonsense from bosses, that type of thing. So I did like selling direct for that reason. And I also found it was good because, like I said, you get paid immediately. You make all the decisions. You don't have to wake up to a nasty gram saying you did something that you didn't do or to prove you owned the rights to your own book, which I had happened quite a bit, even in the CreateSpace days back then. And so selling direct is now becoming a trend. Lots of authors are now jumping on the selling direct bandwagon, but we have to be careful because selling direct is not just sticking buy buttons on your website. It can be if that's what you want, that's fine. Go for it if that's what you want. But if you want it as an actual business, it is a business. It is an e-commerce business and should be treated as such. but there are all sorts of advantages. It's usually, I find in my own view, it's usually, I see this all the time, whatever someone's making on the retailers, it's quite easy for them to start making it when they start selling direct because they have a warm and a hot audience. This is something to be aware of when you have an e-commerce business. There are 3 types of audiences. The cold audience, that's somebody who's never heard of you. You could be from Mars. They don't know you from a bar of soap. There's your warm audience. This could be someone who follows you on Facebook. They actually haven't bought any of your books, but they know who you are and they might intend to buy from you. And then there's your hot audience, and that's someone who has bought from you. And obviously they know who you are. But when you're selling in an e-commerce business, you're focusing on your cold audiences. You want to get as big of a cold audience as you can get. But meanwhile, you can sell to your hot and your warm audiences, who are people who already know who you are. So a lot of the advice out there is geared to hot and warm audiences, which isn't sustainable. You can make a bit of money there, but you can't scale. You can't scale when you're always going over your same old audiences. So that's one thing to bear in mind, your cold audiences. Now, when my kids were little, they always wanted to go to McDonald's and they always wanted an ice cream cone. So I was always going through the drive-through, back then they were 30 cents. The ice cream cones were 30 cents, but they had an upsell for 80 cents. You could add a chocolate bar. And of course, they'd always say, do you want fries with that? Yes. They all wanted a Happy Meal each. Did they want that upsized? Yes, they wanted upsized. So you'd think, 30 cents, even my maths can figure out 3 kids, that's 90 cents. I never got out of there paying 90 cents. What does this have to do with direct selling, I hear you ask? Absolutely everything. If you remember nothing else from this video, remember McDonald's 30-cent ice cream cones, because the money is in the upsell. If you've ever had an Amazon affiliate account, you might have gone to your stats and had a chuckle. Someone clicked through on your, say, $5 book and they bought a sofa. They might have bought clothes. They could have bought a pump for their soccer ball. They might have even bought a desktop computer. The list goes on and on. The point is, they didn't just buy your book. And if you've ever run an Amazon ad, or even if you haven't, and you go to your author page, a product page of yours on, say, Amazon or on one of the other retailers, that's not the only book there. They have other authors' books. So they're cross-selling to other people's books. And that's good. That's what they're supposed to do. That's what retailers do. I always say the money is in the upsell. With e-commerce, it's important to have a high average order value. As authors, we're thinking in multiples of single books. We think, I sold X amount of books today, and those books might be, say, $5 each, $4.99, whatever. Let's say $5. $5 each, you might say, oh, today I made $300. I sold 60, is that right? 60 books. But you see, we're thinking in singles, but the retailers don't think like that. They think, and when you're selling on the retailers, you don't know that someone might go and buy 1 book from you. They might go and buy 10 books by somebody else. They might go and buy a pair of jeans. They might buy a pair of running shoes. They could even buy an exercise bike. They might buy a treadmill. They might buy makeup. Who knows? See what I mean? You don't know. When you're selling on the retailers, you're thinking, and this is author mindset, you're thinking in multiples of single books. When you're a retailer, you don't think that. Now back to the McDonald's ice cream cones. 30 cents. They upsell. Would you like fries with that? Would you like that upsized? These are cross sells and upsells, and that's where the money is. Now, when you're selling on the retailers, you are supplying, think of it this way, you are supplying the 30-cent ice cream cones to Amazon, and for them to make the upsell, the money in the upsells and cross sells. So say, going back to McDonald's, say, like you're paying for the ice cream cones, you get a little bit of royalty on that at least 2 months after you supply them the ice cream cones. Then they'll go and make the mega bucks on upselling. And that's what you as a retailer can do. When you have your own author store, you can also cross-sell people, and you can also upsell. There are a lot of very good apps I use and recommend Reconvert, which is a post-purchase upsell. Think about this. A post-purchase upsell has a 100% open rate, pretty much 100% open rate. It's the order confirmation page. If you've ever bought anything on Shopify or any online store, you go there and it will say, thank you for your purchase, blah, 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 blah. That is a post-purchase upsell page, and you land on it without thinking. It has a 100% open rate. That's where you put your post-purchase upsell. And you can do these in stages, and you can pick the products. So if somebody has already bought that item, it won't appear, or it will show them the next book in the series, or maybe something else, and offer them a discount. And you can have a timer on it to create urgency, like this can run out in 5 minutes. So when you have your own store, you can do exactly what the retailers do. And as I said, the money's in the upsell. I sell bundles of 16 books. I've got a book bundle of 16 books. I think it's around $77. Not too sure. But anyway, people will buy that. They won't think twice. And time again, when authors start selling direct, they'll say to me, I'm so shocked. Someone bought $100 worth of books. And this is typical. See, buyers will typically buy more than you think they will. But when you're selling on the retailers and you've got the thought in your head, you're selling multiples of a single $5 book, you don't realise what buyers will actually do. What buyers will actually do when they land on an online store. And to me, it's exciting and fun. I love doing this. And I'm actually surprised if I look at my orders and someone has bought a single book. I think, oh gosh, that's a bit of a shock. Whereas when you're selling the retailers, you're thinking the opposite way. So do you see where I'm going with this? When someone lands on your page, you have cross-sells there, like, you want to buy the next 2 books in the series, or do you want to buy this bundle, and so on. And then you can, when they get to the post-purchase page, you upsell them again. Now, if you have Klaviyo or a good e-commerce email service provider, again, forget your normal selling on the retailer email things. They just don't wash, in my view. So if someone goes to a product page and they just have a look, but they don't buy or add to cart, you've got a browse abandonment flow in place that will pick them up. And also you can do this if they add to cart and they don't get as far as checkout, or if they reach checkout and don't buy. You can pick these all up with flows, and once you've set them up, they're all automatic. And by the way, it's a common misconception. I hear this, like, beginners often think these people have to already be subscribed, but no, they don't. That's a whole other story, but no, they don't. It will pick them up under certain conditions. Say they've already got a Shopify account, say if they've subscribed to someone else, it will pick them up, which is incredible. Like, it's wizardry, isn't it? It's just like Harry Potter. So it's very exciting. So back to the customer. When you sell on the retailers, you don't own the customer. You don't know who the customer is. Of course, they might email you and say, I bought your book from Amazon. I love you, blah, blah, blah. But if they don't do that, you'd never know. You'd never know that Fred Blogs from New Zealand went there and bought your book. How would you know? Unless you're psychic with a crystal ball. You wouldn't know. You don't own the customer. The retailer owns the customer. I saw someone on a group the other day say, why didn't Amazon tell you who bought your books? Well, why should they? You're not the retailer, they are. It's like, say, you're a shoe manufacturer and there's a sports store and you give them your shoes to sell. They're not going to tell you who their customers are because it's their customers. And people say, oh, it's important. Why is it important to own the customer? Well, for the reasons I've been talking about, for cross-selling and upselling. When you send someone to Amazon to buy your book, Amazon gets its hooks into them. That's their customer. Nothing wrong with it. You should be doing that too. But this is what happens. Amazon now has that customer. They will cross-sell to them on the product page. They will cross-sell to them on the post-purchase upsell. In the confirmation email, Amazon will take every opportunity to cross-sell and upsell to that person. And when you own your own retailer business, you can do that too. But you cannot if you are selling on the retailers, because you're handing that customer over to Amazon. It's not your customer, it's Amazon's customer. When you have your own customers, you can upsell to them. You can build a sustainable business for years to come when you have a good customer base. It costs a lot more to acquire a customer than it does to keep a customer. So bear that in mind, that when you have a customer, once you get them to your store, you're laughing, because then you can pick them up. As soon as they're looking at a product on your store, you can get them with a browse abandonment flow, even if they don't do anything else. If they add to cart, as I said, if they add to checkout, you've got that customer. Now that is your customer. Even if that customer is a would-be customer of yours and hasn't bought anything else, they're still your customer. And I find this very exciting. So if you enjoy business in any capacity, if you enjoy ads in any way, if you enjoy marketing, if you find anything but writing a bit of fun, then you will probably enjoy selling direct. But bear in mind, it is an actual e-commerce business and you are responsible for the entire business. It's not just like putting a few buy buttons on your website. It's not just like doing PayHip or something like that, which is fantastic if that's what you want to do. It's horses for courses. Decide your objective. Having an e-commerce business might not be for you. Maybe you want to do a PayHip. Maybe you want to do some buy buttons on your website. But if you want to build a business and have an actual business where you're making actual good money, then in my view, you need Shopify and you actually need an e-commerce business. So then, please like this video and subscribe to my channel. Hit the little bell so you'll be notified, and that way I can keep making these videos for you. I'll catch you in the next video. Bye for now.